Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Hey, I'm excited about today's show. I got Theo Jackson, Vikings' newest safety weapon. We know there's been history. Ant Harris, Andrew Sendejo, Cam Bynum, all alongside one guy, Harrison Smith. And we got Theo Jackson joining us today on the Ron Johnson Show on the Hanging Ron Johnson segment. But also, we'll talk a little Vikings mini camp. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the team stuff that Theo addressed with us. And then we got to do the Daily 3. Oklahoma's done. We'll talk about all that and much more coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show. Hey, it's a rainy Tuesday. Just checking out all the rain, all the animals, the birds. I just feel like, you know what? There's growth. And when there's growth, there's Vikings talk. And the Vikings are growing. The Vikings are changing. I got a cool tip from Theo Jackson I can't wait to talk to you guys about because when Cam Bynum left, there was a lot of little things I worried about. But Sam and I will talk about this a little bit too. But I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers get $200 in bonus bets. If your first $5 bet wins, you got that $200. And remember, there's NBA final stuff. So the NBA finals is kind of hard to judge, but there's a free throw merchant out there. I would probably take him to win. I would pick 4 to 5 games. He's going to win one of those. So pick that. That's your first $5 bet, and you win $200 in bonus bets. And then you're playing with house money. Now you can bet on whatever you want. Put $100 on something. It's their money. You win it, you get more money. You take those odds, you get more money. So make sure you do that. Again, first $5 bet wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Well, on today's show, like I said, we got Theo Jackson, Vikings safety, joining us in the Hanging Around Johnson segment. Super excited about that one. We also going to talk in the Daily 3, of course. We're going to spend about a minute each day on those. Some softball dynasties have died. Oklahoma is no more. I watched it. Texas Tech is in. And then, of course, we got some Timberwolves talk and, of course, NBA Finals talk. But as I bring my producer to the show, Sam Extra, make sure you guys, thanks everybody for joining us on YouTube. Those that continue to download, like, share, tell a friend that we're here. Also, Amazon Fire and Roku. You can get us on numerous devices, but also wherever you get your podcasts as well. If you're just traveling through the airport, you just want to listen to something, we're here. We're going to give you some good tidbits. And I hope you tell a friend, like, hey, man, I heard the Ron Johnson Show today. And those guys really do give us some interesting stuff. We got Theo Jackson, like I said, and I got him to open up a little bit about some things within the Vikings organization. So you guys do not want to miss that one. One thing I knew he wasn't going to tell us, but, you know, I had to at least ask. And he kind of held it to himself. So I'm glad he did. I didn't want to give that away. But I'm like, hey, what's your secret move? So we'll talk about that with Theo Jackson a little bit later. But Sam, Vikings minicamp started. Everybody's talking about the quarterbacks. Everybody's talking about the offensive weapons. But Theo Jackson, man, like Cam Bynum being gone. And that was the one thing I asked, him is like, where's your role within this new defense, within Cam Bynum's leaving? I got the back row guys, the football party guys. Everybody got that question as well. So I made sure to get those in there. So each guy got a question in for Theo Jackson as well. And it's just interesting to me how he really broke it down of, he was always involved in the celebrations. So that was cool to hear. Like, he's a part of it. He's excited to be a part of that with Josh Metella. So I'm glad to hear that. But when I look at Theo Jackson's role, Sam, this is what I remember. Cam Bynum hit the scene, especially when Harrison Smith would be out. Like, he was out, I think, 1 or 2 games rest.
Right.
And so that's when you really saw, like, okay, Cam Bynum is it, which the coach saw that. That's why the coach was like, hey, here's the money. Come be a part of our organization. And Cam Bynum was a guy. Cam Bynum also played corner in college, so he's a guy that can cover. For Theo Jackson, looking at the little things he's going to get to do, be in the box a little bit more, rock and roll with Harrison Smith, get after the quarterback every now and then, be a run supporter in this, work hand in hand with Josh Metellus. I'm really excited for Theo Jackson. And because, too, like, people forget, nothing against some colleges, but the dude went to Tennessee. Like he played in the SEC. Like when you come from a big school, you do have a little bit of pedigree to it. You know, Josh Metellus was a late round pick, but he went to Michigan. Like I think people forget that. Like sometimes, you know, Harrison Smith, Notre Dame, helmet sticker school. You know, like it's one of those things sometimes where people don't realize. Like sometimes your college does matter. It does help. Now there are some freak athletes, Randy Moss, but we know he would have went to any college. He just got in trouble at Florida State. But you know, guys out of Marshall like Randy Moss, Ben Roethlisberger, out of Miami, Ohio. You got Joe Flacco out of Delaware. You know, there are some guys that get through. Pierre Garçon out of Mount Union. You know, there's some guys that make it. And you're like, man, where did this guy go to school? How did he end up there? Hey, high school is not a given. There are some guys that end up in college that are not good. And they just do a lot for their high school, or they do a great job getting recruited. And then they get there and you're like, wait, what? Who is this guy? You know, so, you know, I'm interested to see what happens coming forward, because we'll talk next week maybe about Roman Voss. He's a 4-star kid out of Minnesota. He has Alabama and Minnesota to pick from. But Coy Parrish was smart. Ohio State or Minnesota. Now, if he went to Ohio State, he'd be a national champion. Would he have played? No. Would he have been what he is? No. Would everybody be talking about him? No. Would he have a high ranking on NCAA football? No, because he wouldn't have played. He wouldn't have got to do everything. He wouldn't have got to play receiver and DB at Ohio State. Minnesota is giving him an opportunity, and that's what I think about Roman Voss, and that's what I look at Theo Jackson going to Tennessee. Same with Josh Metellus. If Josh Metellus went to another team, would he be what he is? Would he have been used everywhere within his Brian Flores defense? And Sam, when I look at Theo Jackson, that's what I'm most excited about, is what could he be for this defense? Can he fill Cam Bynum's shoes? And honestly, maybe I'm biased now. You know that. I'm going to be biased. The guy took his time to give us some time on our show. But after watching him last year, I think we talked about that before we even thought about having him on the show. I think he's going to fill the role just fine. I think Harrison Smith and Brian Flores are the keys to this defense, because it seems like no matter who you plug in, they're going to make plays if they're just paying attention. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, person for person, I can't think of a safety partner that Harrison Smith has had in his career who hasn't been exceptional or gotten the most out of them, right? And draft status hasn't mattered. Anderson Dejo, I think, was undrafted. Ant Harris was undrafted.
Yep.
You know, Xavier Woods came along for a year. Yep. He was really good.
Yeah, we thought about keeping him.
Yeah. He and the reason they didn't, I think, is because Cam Bynum was there, and they said, this is our next guy. Yep. So Bynum did it for 3 years, and now it's going to be Theo Jackson's turn. He's going to have a couple of years. I don't know how many next to Harrison Smith,
right?
But he's gonna be in a spot to excel next to a Hall of Famer, and he's going to have a great defense in front of him. He's going to have strong, boundary play around him. I think he's going to have a chance to really, really thrive. And cool that they extended him right away. They said, hey, here's 2 years, $12 million. It's going to be life-changing for you, because I don't think he'd really made that much to this point in his career. And now he's one of the guys. He's part of kind of a remade secondary, Ron. They don't have that many guys back from last year. I think Jackson's going to be a key piece, because he's at least been around the defense for a couple of years. He knows the Flores system. Now he gets to go do it in real games.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. One, knowing the system, being around for a little bit to understand the system, what he's getting out of it. I like some of the stuff he said is like, yeah, well, I did it this way. And the coach is like, I don't know if I'd have did it that way. And Harrison Smith's like, I would have did it that way. It's just cool to see how Harry kind of makes sure to pick up those guys and make sure to say, like, look, man, I've been here for 13, 14 years. Like, man, you're fine. Because a lot of times when you don't have that type of veteran that's willing to go against the coaches, and not in a bad way. And when I say this, people, players that go against coaches is just like Peyton Manning telling Tony Dungy, we don't want to do this. It's just like the Colts when Tony Dungy told that story, which I got to get him on here to tell that story, told that story about when, the whole week he had been saying, we're not kicking it to Devin Hester. We're not kicking it to Devin Hester. And then the guy in Bible study in their chapel told the story about David and Goliath. And he's like, you know what? We're not going to go out there scared. And Daniel in the lion's mouth, in the lion's den. He's like, kick it to Devin Hester. And Devin Hester returns a kickoff for a touchdown. And he said he looks around. Reggie Wayne says it too. He looked around like, who said kick it to that guy? Everybody kind of laughed. And I think that was an opportunity, one, to get the guys to say, look, hey, it happens. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next play. But for Tony Dungy to be present in that moment, to remember, I am the one that said don't kick it to him, and then I'm also the one that said kick it to him, and I should have listened to my first self. And it's kind of cool, to hear those type of things. And then all of a sudden now, you look at Harrison Smith kind of doing that as well. Like, hey, like what? No, he's fine. You got off the hash with 3 steps instead of 4 steps, or you broke on a corner route at a little too sharp of an angle, and you tipped the ball versus picking it off. Hey, I probably would have done the same thing. That's when a player on the field can trust Harrison. That's getting trust from your player when you say, I got your back, man. Like you're fine. You did it right. Or you did it the same way I probably would have done it too. Like that's a huge boost for a player to feel like, all right, if I got Harrison behind me, I'm going to trust when he says, like, take this angle. I'm going to trust when he says, hey, I'm going, you got to go back. All that kind of little stuff, man. I think that's what Harrison Smith does a great job of. And then, of course, them being by their lockers. I love that, like he said, man, they be having 7 to 8 day arguments, like within the locker room. Like, that's crazy. Like, every day you walk in, you're going to keep arguing about something. And so you guys got to stick around for the hanger with Ron Johnson segment with Theo when he talks about that one, because that comes towards the end. But I was like, man, that's hilarious that it takes 7 to 8 days sometimes to like stop arguing over something, because somebody, every day somebody says something stupid, or somebody went home like, hey man, I thought about this though. Look, what about this? Like it reminds me of high school. It reminds me of high school when I was in high school before. I don't know if you had cell phones in your high school, but we didn't have cell phones. So if we couldn't reach somebody on a house phone, we just had to wait till the next day of school to pick it up where we left off. And I think that's kind of cool to see these guys go home, be with their families, not sit on their phones and text all day, every day to a group chat to be like, hey man, you're stupid. Hey, no, that's not right. They just, hey, go home, be with your family. Hey, we'll pick this up tomorrow at 8 a.m. Right after meetings in the locker room, we'll argue some more. So I'm loving the team chemistry. I love the culture he talked about that these guys are building. And then again, like the fact that guys are all a part of this defensive stuff. He kind of told us what his celebration is going to be if he makes a big play. So I'm looking forward to that one too. Like I'm waiting for that big play to happen. And so all that little stuff, man, like it's just cool to kind of get that side of a player that they can open up. Because oftentimes too, and that's what I hope I become for players, man, is just an outlet to just have fun and talk. Because I'm not asking hard-hitting questions. I'm not asking, are you going to win? And, what do you expect? Do you expect to be in a Pro Bowl this year? Or what's going to happen with, with Sam Darnold? Like, no, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. Like, that's not what I'm doing. My job is to be an outlet, have a little fun with these guys, give them a chance to joke around. We asked them about Carlin Pickens, who's the fastest softball pitch in college softball history. I mean, she hit 78.4 miles per hour. Now, there was a 79. I don't know if that one was true or not. People are saying that the ESPN graphic might be off, but whatever. Allegedly, ESPN got her at 79, which is nuts. That's like a 110-mile-an-hour fastball for those baseball fans out there from 43 feet. So 79 miles an hour from 43 feet. You have less than like one, I think they said 0.19 or 0.22 seconds to decide if it's a strike or a ball. So it's just nuts. Like, you just got to swing, and you got to see what you're swinging at. And so it's amazing to the girls that can do that. It's amazing at the women that can hit that ball. Their eye-hand coordination is ridiculous, because Carlin Pickens got hit. They didn't win at all. Like, Tennessee is out. Tennessee lost. Texas Tech and Texas. I know the state of Texas right now is excited, but Texas Tech versus Texas for the national championship, best of 3. I think it starts tomorrow or Thursday. It might start tomorrow. I can't wait though, because I'm looking forward to that. Best of 3. And Najee candidate, but I asked him that because of Carlin Pickens. I'm like, dude, that's your school. That's Tennessee, man. Wear the shirt. Be proud. Like, go out there and tell the people, like, I go to Tennessee. I got one of the best softball teams in the country. And he was like, oh man, you're right. Because I know if Minnesota had made it, I'd be jumping around telling everybody, so I love being able to express that with players too, to let them know, like, man, softball is something, especially if you have daughters. Like, especially if you have daughters now for football players, man. Make sure you guys check out softball. It's one of the best sports for team camaraderie, just like baseball. It's an old pastime, I'd say, for women, for softball. For softball fans, though, like, it's a great game. And so that was fun talking to Theo Jackson, because he's just one of those guys that I feel like is going to be a glue guy for this team. He's going to be a great guy off the field. Yeah. But let's get to Theo Jackson, man, and we'll do that after a quick pause and a word from our sponsors.
All right, before we get to Theo, I'll tell you that we're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. The finals are here, or in hockey's case, the final, the Stanley Cup final. And if you're a new customer at FanDuel, you can bet $5, win that bet, get $200 in bonus bets. It's fun to bet on the finals. The games mean a lot of eyeballs on them, a lot of wagering options on both. Now, if you're looking at series price for the NBA, that's a tough bet. You got the Thunder at minus 750. Yeah, you could sprinkle a little bit on the Pacers plus 530, but I think hockey is the angle. You got the Oilers and the Panthers rematch of last year. It's a coin flip. Panthers, defending champs at plus 106 series price. That's where my wagering dollar would go. Maybe if you want that $5 promo bet, find a lopsided baseball money line. Bet against the Rockies. I mean, they've won like 10 games out of 60. Bet against the Rockies. Win that bet. Get 200 at FanDuel. Make every moment more. Get the 200 to bet on the finals. How's that plan sound? FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA and Locked On.
And now it's time to bring in Theo Jackson. This is a guy that, from Tennessee. So, of course, the safety is next to him as well. Sam Ekstrom pointed this out to me. Is from Tennessee as well. I don't know why I never paid attention to that. Harrison Smith was from Tennessee. I got Sam's question from the back row. And at first I'm like, what in the world does that have to do with anything? And then I'm like, oh, wait, Harrison Smith is from Tennessee as well. So, his counterpart back there. But this guy played 5 seasons at the University of Tennessee. He's also played for 3 head coaches, Butch Jones, Jeremy Pruitt, and Josh Heupel. So you're talking about a guy that's stuck through change, a guy that's willing to stick through some turmoil. Theo Jackson being behind safety after safety after safety. I think that's a nod to him being a part of a team first guy and saying, you know what, I'm gonna do what's right for the team. And maybe it works out for me, maybe it doesn't. But this is a former 3-star high school athlete. This is a guy that had 190 career tackles, started 24 out of 56 games in college. He's now the starting, quote unquote. It's his job to lose. You don't pay somebody, like Sam said, $12 million and he's not going to be there. But now it's time to bring Theo Jackson to the show with no further ado. And now, as promised, as we bring Theo Jackson to the Hang with Ron Johnson segment, man, appreciate you for joining me. I know you just getting off the practice field. Mm-hmm. But when you look at this season, man, first off, I see you're wearing the Kyrie shirt, man. What was going through your mind, or what have you gone through, man, just losing a teammate like that?
Honestly, that was like tough to hear, because I wasn't like because I was on a boat with my wife, and then I got the news. I had to turn around and go home. Like that kind of messed up my whole day, because the relationship that we had built, and honestly, the impact that he had on everybody, that was like. That's not something that I want to wish on anybody. That was really tough. That was really tough.
Yeah, man, because it's aside from the football, because everybody talks about the football side of this, and that was the first thing I do. I do the Vikings schedule release every year. I do a lot of the prediction stuff for the Vikings on VEN Network. For those want to check it out, go to Vikings.com and check out our VEN content with that. But Kyrie Jackson is one of the guys I picked out early on from Oregon, and it just happened to work out. The Vikings drafted him. And aside from the football, it was the other stuff, man. When you start to hear guys talk about what kind of teammate he was, what kind of guy he was in the locker room. And, it's tough to have your life cut short regardless of football, And so I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. So, I grew up in the inner city dealing with gangs, dealing with guns, dealing with violence, losing teammates to gun violence or whatever it might be. So it's crazy when it's something not even that, it's just like you just don't know. Like it's like you're trying to do the right things. You're trying to stay away from that type of element. And then you end up in a situation like that. It's tough, man. And so, continue to praying for you guys, man, because as a former player, I know what that's like. I know what that feels like. And it's not easy. I know a guy from the University of Minnesota, Brandon Hall. He's from Detroit, Michigan as well. He got gunned down in Minneapolis, actually downtown, got shot. And, just wrong place, wrong time. Big offensive tackle, 6'7", 340-pound kid, but freshman year, freshman or sophomore year. And so it's crazy that it happens, man. But, jumping over to, the rest of that, so you guys move on, you dedicate the season to KJ, you do all this stuff, you continue to talk about him, man. Do you feel like his presence, man, pushed you guys through a lot of stuff?
Honestly, yeah. because what people don't know, like he pushed us like during OTAs, he's pushing us. Like he just got there, but if somebody could have made a play but they didn't, he'll turn around and say, "Well, I would have made that play," just jokingly. but what I'm saying, like that competitive mindset that he had, it pushed us. So we knew what we had to do to honor him. So we had to keep pushing each other, and then ultimately like push ourselves as a team.
And when you talk about the team, so let's stick with the defense. I love that. I would have made that play because that's what it's about, man. Like it's a PJ Fleck for the Gophers. I don't know if you follow the Gophers much. I know you're a Tennessee guy, but PJ Fleck talks a lot about competitive. And you have Max Brosmer there, so you can probably ask Max Brosmer. He knows what's his name, the linebacker Blake Cashman. Blake knows this, but PJ talks about competing together. It's not competing against each other. You're competing together. And, that's huge. And when you think about competing, man, you've been around Harrison Smith. You've been around Cam Bynum, who's now gone. You got Josh Metellus, a Swiss Army knife of DBs there. When you think about the legacy of safety at the Vikings and you talk about competing and doing all the stuff, man, when you kind of knew, like, okay, they're not re-signing a guy, they're not bringing a guy in, they're not going to sign a big name guy, they're not going to spend $50 million on somebody, like it's my job now to lose, basically. What kind of mindset did you have right away when you realized it's you and Harrison Smith?
Honestly, I always have the same mindset, whether I'm the starting guy or I'm working my way to just to fight to be on the team. It's always stay ready. Like, I've always had just that mindset, just always be ready when your name is called, because this is a long season, and things happen. So it was really just like, now it's just go time, So I have to take on like a bigger role. I have to make that jump. But to me, it's just going about my day, like, because I never change up anything I have to do, whether I'm starting that week or I'm just not playing that week. I go through it the same exact way, make all the calls, do my recovery. I try to do everything the same. So when it's my turn to go, I'm already ready.
Yeah, and for those listening on Amazon Fire or Roku devices, this is Locked On Sports Minnesota, a partner with Tegna NBC. I got Theo Jackson from the Minnesota Vikings on with me. For those watching on YouTube, thank you. Continue to watch, and make sure you guys share the clips and tell a friend that we're here, because Theo Jackson's about to have a big season. I've been here for a long time. This is going to be my 11th season doing the Vikings Game Day live show. You probably were in like middle school around that time or so, but I've seen every safety. I've seen Andrew Sendejo. I've seen, Ant Harris. I've seen, now Cam Bynum, Josh Metellus, and now yourself. When you look at all those names, one name hasn't changed for us. Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith has been through it all. Like, he's been through 3 different presidents, and I mean, he's done it all at safety. And so when you think about that, man, what have you learned from a guy of that caliber? I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. We know that. You look at the numbers, you look at,
Easily.
Troy Polamalu. I play with Ed Reed with the Baltimore Ravens, so I've seen the greats do it. What have you learned from him in that safety position?
So what's funny is I've been sitting next to Harry since I was a rookie. So every day, I'm just picking his brain. How do you see this? How do you see that? How do you think I should have played it? Like, every day I'm just constantly asking him questions, and he loves it, or at least I think he do. but like most of my game and the way I play and I see it really comes from him. So sometimes, if a coach don't see the way I do it, Harry will tap me and be like, I would have played it the same exact way. It's just good to hear, like what you're doing is starting to show, through him.
And when you think about the defense, like you said, like, every coach has an idea. And I've talked to Brian Flores a bunch. I've talked to Kevin O'Connell before about this, because me and Keenan McCardell the other day, actually, when the schedule got released, we sat around for about 30, 40 minutes just talking ball, because, like, I'm a analyst now. I'm on the other side of it, but I still love football. I'm the guy, man, that, like, if I go on Pat McAfee's show, if I'm on with somebody else's show, I'm always going to talk football to the point of, you can't tell me a guy screwed up because you don't know the call.
Exactly.
You can't tell me he ran the wrong route, or Sam, like I love the Lions game this year. Sam Darnold, allegedly missed some throws. I'm like, those are double moves. You don't throw a flat, and a receiver doesn't run to the corner right away if it's just a flat. Like you don't run to the goal post if you just have a slant. He had a slant and go. I'm like, I could see that right away. And, of course, social media blew up. Everybody's coming at me because I've defended Sam Darnold. And then I get a chance to talk to Keenan McCardell, and I'm like, see, I'm right. And I'm not going to take a victory lap yet. I'm going to wait later this summer and remind people like, hey, just watch the tape. But you bring up a good point, man, about I did it this way. Harrison Smith probably will have done it this way. Brian Flores has you guys like all over the place sometimes.
Yeah.
How hard is that to kind of prepare for?
It's tough because like you will never know like who's playing what.
Yeah.
Because we can all play the same position. So sometimes, if it's all the safeties in there at once, coach would be like, y'all figure out who's playing what. So he gives us the reins to disguise, if somebody wants to play down, somebody wants to play back. It's to me, I think it's tough for the offense.
Yeah, because that's the thing. And that question came from Arif Hassan. So we have a show throughout the week, too, called The Football Party. So I don't know if you've seen Dan Patrick on NBC. That's our back row guys. The back row guys throw questions at me. I answer them. And then every once in a while, I'm like, hey, I got a guy. You guys let me know if you have a question. So like we had Harrison Smith. We had Cam Bynum a couple of times. We've had Josh Metellus. And so always like to get that question came from Arif because, he's a nerdy guy. So we have like two nerdy guys that are nerdy stat guys. And, they love to talk about DVOA and all that other crap and EPA, expected play over. Like, hey, man, just look, he missed the tackle. But I get it. You got the nerdy stat guy. So that was from one of our guys, Arif Hassan. But talking about KOC, man, like the culture was set. So I've been here through like Brad Childress. I've seen Leslie Frazier, and then we had Mike Zimmer come in, and now, you got Kevin O'Connell. So I've seen the culture shift. I've seen, a lot of the stuff change. But what is Kevin O'Connell? I mean, he was the coach of the year, but what kind of guy is Kevin O'Connell that one warrants him the coach of the year, but has year in and year out has gotten you guys to play at the, almost like getting to the Super Bowl?
So one, I mean, like he has experience being a player, so he knows, what it's like to be us. So he takes care of us. Like, he makes sure, the days that we're gonna go, trust me, we're gonna go. But when it comes to taking care of players, like he does that like at a top class level, So like he makes sure that we're fresh for the games, but also, like he's a great guy, and he harps on like just having a great culture. Like this whole locker room, this whole team, like we literally just like we talk to each other, we hang out outside the building. Like he's kind of like led us to be, just one band, one sound. Like if you see one person, you're gonna see about 3-4 others. So like we're always together. So like he's like that's why he won coach of the year. He's just like the way he coaches, the way that he fires us up, the way just the way that he does his day to day is just you can't really compare to nobody.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie though? One Band, One Sound. Have you seen where that came from?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't know if you were old enough. Because I've thrown some movies out to guys before. And I keep forgetting how young some guys are. But yeah, like so here's the thing though. Were you like was this a DVD later Drumline, or did you see it on TV, or did a coach use that clip?
No. Like my whole family, we're just big on movies. So I seen it on TV. I mean, I was probably too young to see it on TV, but I remember seeing it. And then, watched it on DVD and all that.
Okay.
So.
It wasn't, I mean, and again, like I grew up around that movie. It wasn't bad. There wasn't any sexual scenes or anything. Right. I mean, I don't even think there was cursing because it's Nick Cannon. Like exactly. Nick Cannon, people forget Nick Cannon was from Nickelodeon. Like he tries not to go too far. Like Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cannon and Christina. Because I'm a movie guy. Like that was the one when I got married, that was one of the questions at my wife's like bridal party was like, how many DVDs do I have? And I think at the time I had like 486 DVDs. And here's the reason why, and you know this, on Tuesdays you get paid and it's your day off. So like I would just take my NFL check. I would and this is a check. See, y'all get wire transfer now. We actually got physical paper checks. So I would get my check. I would go to the bank. I deposit it. And then I'd be like, man, I'm gonna spend like $200-300. And so I go to Best Buy, I get some DVDs. I get whatever. So that was my thing. I would always get the movies.
$200 on DVDs, man.
Man, I had a problem. I watch I'm gonna have to at some point take a picture and I'll show you when I come out to a training camp or mini. But dude, I got boxes in the basement now that are still boxes because I'm like, I want my kids to watch some of these cartoons.
Yeah.
But I got like the Shark movie with Will Smith. I got like every Fast and Furious. I got behind me right now, literally, I got like the Boondocks. I got Martin.
Must have.
Oh yeah, I got Boondocks. I got Martin on DVD. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on DVD. Like, yeah, I had a problem, man. Like, I just could not, and I still do it. I buy them on Apple now. I go on my iPad. I'll buy a movie or two to take on a plane with me. But yeah, I'm a big movie person. My 11-year-old or 10-year-old daughter is too. My wife and my older daughter are not, but me and my younger daughter, that's like we can watch a good movie all day. So I've gotten them into the Avengers a little bit. Mm-hmm. So do you do all that? You're the Avengers, DC, Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So if you were to put yourself in that movie, because I've asked Harrison Smith this, and I think Harrison Smith said Captain America, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and look at it. But who would you kind of put yourself in if you were an Avenger? Like if you had to pick of all of them, like Hulk, like you could even be Thanos if you want to be.
I don't want to be Hulk because they turn Hulk into something that I don't like.
You don't like the crossover glasses, Hulk, normal human?
No. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. Thor.
Okay.
Thor was my guy. Yeah.
Okay. So because you'd have to be the new Thor, nice haircut.
Oh yeah.
You know. But you got the hammer and you got the axe, the Thor killing Thanos killing axe.
His entrance when he popped up was probably one of the best. So
which one? In
the Avengers.
But which the first one or the one where they were trying to kill Thanos?
When they were trying to kill Thanos.
Okay, yeah. That was dope when he came back with the Oh yeah. So, and my favorite one is Captain America's entrance in that same movie, but when he had come back and they were in the train station.
Yeah.
Like he had been gone for a while, train goes by. So like I always I use that same clip. I can't remember when I used it, but I think I used it for like a meme that blew up because I was talking about like Kevin O'Connell and something. And I remember like thinking like across the train was like a pass play or something. And it was like saving Kevin O'Connell today. I just can't remember what I used it for, but I love using those movies, man. But getting back into the football talk. So another back row question. This one comes from Luke Inman, and he says, when you're done, one of the guys in our football party, when you're done, you look back on your career. Is there anything you're going to look back on with Brian Flores' defensive schemes and be like, man, that was crazy. Like, that's different. I didn't even think that way. Like, is there something that's going to stick with you that you're going to be like, man, I just can't believe we're doing this?
What was really what really got me was when he just put in the all-out blitz
for everybody.
It don't matter who we're going against. Like it messed me up because when we first put it in, I'm like, are we sure this is gonna work? Like in my head, I'm like, yo, is this gonna work? And it handcuffs people, man. Like.
You just don't know who to block.
You don't know who to block. And then if you block this way, you just can't win.
Right.
And then if you do block it up, you still gotta make sure that everybody wins their one-on-one, which isn't gonna happen. That right there just blew my mind.
And so we've had Cam Bynum talk about that. He's talked about Harrison Smith, kind of he knows okay, Harry might go here, so I got to cover this side, or we're supposed to be in cover 2. We're going to swap to 3, but on that swap to 3, Harry's just going to keep going because he sees something. You don't have any sacks, but I know safeties have gotten sacks in this defense. Are you looking forward to your chance now to kind of be the switch off guy and say, I get to get after the court? Do you have a move? Are you going to be because Harrison Smith is kind of like a hitman. He's creepy. He kind of acts like he's not doing anything and he just goes. Do you have kind of a special move you're going to pull out, like a slow creep or, a fake, I'm going to go back and I'm going? Have you kind of thought about that?
I thought about it, but since this is going to air, I don't
you don't. Okay, so we'll keep that off air then. We'll keep that off air. So here's a better one though. Then have you thought about your celebration?
Oh, I'm out here dealing cards. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. All right. So, because here's the thing, man. Who's gonna pick up the Cam Bynum, Josh Metellus? Josh Metellus is missing a wingman.
Mm-hmm.
So are you ready to be like, are you looking at movies now,
So,
coming up with dances and?
I was always in on all the celebrations.
Okay.
So, it's gonna be me and Josh, and then we're just gonna pick people up, and Murph too. We're
Okay.
just gonna keep on adding.
So you can dance then. So we don't have to worry about that. You got rhythm, you can dance.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know I'm not nothing against DBs, man. Like I don't know if you watch the Pat McAfee show, but Darius Butler, he usually sits in one of the chairs on the McAfee show, and that's my guy. And so he and I were getting our NBA together in New York, so we hoop together. So again, I've changed my mind about DBs hooping because Darius can hoop. He and I have hooped together in New York. He can golf. He can, he's an athletic guy. So I know he always brings that up. Like, man, stop acting like quarterbacks. Because my one time before this was Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes. If you ever get a chance to see him hoop, it's the funniest thing you've ever seen in your life. And like Trey Waynes, Xavier Rhodes, Stephon Diggs, a couple other guys came over to Lifetime Fitness and we were hooping.
Yeah.
It was some of the worst offensive production I've ever seen from two defensive backs. Now they could lock down a defense.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like,
that's in their nature.
but on the court, oh no, it was like, it was horrid. It was the worst. Like I had some of the best laughs watching those two just try to dribble. Like it was hilarious. So that's why I'm not gonna hate on you because you did tell me you played a little bit in high school.
Like, don't get me wrong. Now, like I can hoop. I just stopped.
And you're a safety too, so you don't really hit that corner role because I know Harrison Smith can hoop. I've talked to him about it. So safety is usually a little bit better at it than corners. But getting a little bit more to Harrison Smith, man. So this one comes from Sam Ekstrom. He's one of our back row guys. He's the producer actually. Mm-hmm. And so you're from Tennessee. Harrison Smith's from Tennessee. Do you guys talk about high school Tennessee football? Like, do you ever come together and try to say like, you guys are better than like Florida, Texas, or do you guys ever talk about it together about like, man, like X, Y, and Z?
I mean, we talk about some of the players that then came through Tennessee, but we can't say that we better than some of these other states.
Because you got a guy in your room, Ambry Thomas, man. He's from my high school in Detroit, Michigan, King High School, best high school in the country. You got another guy in your defensive room, Kobe. So Kobe King, he's from Detroit, Michigan. He went to Cass Tech. So him and Ambry Thomas and Kobe, if you ever want to pit them against each other, just have them argue about Cass and King. Cass and King are rivals. Man. Like when I was in high school, we couldn't even go to basketball games. Football players couldn't go to the basketball games from like 1996 to 1997 because every game ended in a fight with the football players fighting in the stands. But it's like, I think they've had 21 draft picks from their school. We've had 22 22 to them. We've had 21 NFL draft picks. We have another one coming though, the starting quarterback at Oregon, Dante Moore. He's from my high school as well. He's a Cam Newton lookalike, 6'5", 240. So he'll be next most likely. But Ambry and those guys. So I know we argue with Texas guys all the time about Michigan football, about Florida football. So, Tennessee is a little bit smaller. But Tennessee softball, have you watched it?
I have not, but I'm hearing so much about it. I have not watched it.
Dude, you missing out. So they've just beat UCLA in the elimination round. They got to go play Texas now, which is a tough task. Yeah. But Carlin Pickens, and I do this, man. I have two daughters, so a 14-year-old and a 10-year-old. My 14-year-old is probably one of the fastest girls in the state, but she's probably one of the fastest in the country now for softball. She plays softball, my younger daughter. So I'm big in softball, man. Me and my wife, that's all we do is softball. If you get a chance, man, Pickens on ESPN. I think I don't know if they play today or tomorrow or Thursday, but she has the record fastest pitch in softball. So that's why I asked you. I know you played in the celebrity game with CJ Ham. Yeah. Do you think you could hit a 70+ mile an hour pitch from a softball? So I played
baseball too in high school.
Okay. but here's the equivalent. But a 75 is 106 miles an hour.
Yeah, so I know. It's different. Plus, it's closer. So
it's closer from 43 feet, and it rises versus dropping down. Right.
How many chances do I get?
She would give you 9. If she gets 9 strikes by you, could you not strike out 3 times?
I don't think I'm going to strike out 3 times.
Because there's some videos out there. University of Florida has done it. And I think Virginia Tech did it. They did football versus softball where the softball girls pitched to the football boys. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. I will say one guy that played football was a quarterback. He played baseball. He actually hit off the girl. Not Tennessee, though. Again, 77, 75. Like, my daughter is an elite. Like, she's on the national team and stuff. And so she's hit 70 miles an hour, pitching wise. But, and she's young. She's only an 8th grader. But it took her a while to figure it out.
I'm gonna need like a pitch or two to see the speed first.
So that's what I got to reach out to the Vikings now. We got to get some content with you guys over in the pitching deal, because we got one that to go 70 miles an hour just to see if some guys want to come over and try to hit 70 miles an hour, and then just have a sit down and talk about softball, football, correlation. But yeah, Carlin pick, man, that's the thing. If you need something to celebrate in the facility, like, you could clown all the UCLA guys, you can clown. Like, I mean, every dude in the SEC, Tennessee right now, other than Oklahoma, Tennessee is the queen of the field right now. Like, they are, I mean, they got a tall task, though. They got to beat Texas, and then they got to turn around and beat Oklahoma. And they got to beat Texas Tech, because Texas Tech just got $1 million NIL girl.
Oh,
but man. And Najari Canada is her name. But good chance, man. That's
generational player.
Yeah, that's your team, though, man. That's your school. That's your, like, Tennessee. Like, trust me, she is every bit. If you just jump on Twitter and start talking, people are gonna love it. She is legit, though, man. She's 6'1", and she absolutely brings it. Like,
that's got to be intimidating on the mound, right?
Oh yeah,
with it being so close.
43 feet, 6'1". Because how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Yeah. She's basically looking you eye to eye and then throwing at you. Like, and it's every bit of beautiful. Like, but I love softball. Like, I said, my daughter they just won the grand opener this weekend up in Ham Lake. So they won, like, they went 6-0. So they won the whole thing. They won the championship. But yeah, it's been fun watching her. And that's her goal. She wants to play college softball. So we spend a lot of time watching it. But speaking of that, man, you're married, you got a wife and kids. I saw you guys just celebrated, your anniversary.
Yes, sir.
What is some advice that you've gotten from your teammates about marriage that you want to keep? Because some guys say some dumb stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I know that.
Oh man, yeah. Some of that stuff you just want to go in and out the other. But I want to keep really just like keep that friendship.
Yeah.
Because when you can't like talk to them about dumb stuff, or you can't like do things like, if y'all want to go outside and like throw a ball, just go outside and throw a ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, do stuff that like that friends would do. Like, because you're ultimately going to be with that person for the rest of your life. So
forever.
Like you can't have a friend and a wife. Like, you need that to be one person. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's good. No, I will say that because, like I said, we're going on 24. Let's see, so 2001. So yeah, almost 23 years. So yeah, it's a long time. And I'll say this too, man. You got kids, gang up against the kids. That's the funnest part of this now.
Yeah.
Like, we get to like talk crap about our kids to each other. Like, funny, like literally during this interview, she just texted me that, why are your kids so dramatic? Because I'm guessing my 14-year-old daughter is doing something dramatic.
What's funny is, like, my youngest, he just started, eating purees and all that.
Oh yeah, yep.
And his face that he made when he first tasted it, that like, we have it on video too. Like, we literally like joke about that video every single day. Like, it's the funniest thing ever.
It's got to be. And so, but yeah, that's the advice I give you, man. Like, you're right on the being friends. Like, you gotta be able to do stuff together. You gotta want to, get out there and just hang out. And because again, it is forever. Like, you got, like, we go on vacation now. The grandparents will keep the kids when because we all go together. Grandparents come with us. Man. Yeah, but they keep the kids, so we actually just whether walk the beach or just talk about whatever, man. Like, it's been a growing for me, because I grew up in a household where my parents didn't talk a lot. So when we first got married, I didn't understand that. I didn't really share with her everything that was going on. Now we talk about everything. We joke about everything. We like, but again, this is 23 years. So so you got a long time, man. Enjoy. Congratulations on that, because that's huge, man. Because when God gives you somebody, it's your job now to protect that. Not just the person, but the relationship and doing all this stuff. Two more before we get out of here, man. One thing, I got a chance to do the schedule release, so it was fun for me because I got to tell Keenan McCardell the first two games before anybody else had told him. So I loved his face when he found out you guys are going to be on primetime. And the Vikings make me sign an NDA. So people stop asking me people. I cannot release the schedule before they do. But I love seeing it, and just seeing the players fade. I got to see Aaron Jones, when he got to see it. I got to see Kevin O'Connell's reaction when he got to see it. When you found out how many primetime, you guys have 7 games when you're on TV and nobody else is on.
Yeah.
You guys have Christmas. You got what goes through your mind when you see all the primetime games?
I just think it's literally I just think darkness, and then there's just spotlight. Like everything you do for that game is gonna be under a microscope. It's just that's really your time to shine. That's what goes through my head.
And I know, when I played, I know I was big on socks, cleats, gloves. Are you that guy, or are you out there butt naked, no gloves, no tape, you don't even care what you look like?
You got to be a madman to go out there with nothing. honestly, if you go out there with nothing, they might fear you. But with me, it's just I just have an arm sleeve and an armband on the other.
Okay.
And a long shirt underneath my jersey.
Okay, so the swag matters to you then.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, because that's I would when I got it. So Deion Sanders came to the Ravens, I think my 4th year, and the coolest thing was seeing Deion's shoes show up in purple and black, and then seeing the socks. So his socks, they were he would scrunch them up.
Yeah,
that wasn't him scrunching them up. He actually had a lady custom sew socks so they would look like that. So he had, and he would order 100 pair, and he had custom scrunch socks. It was scrunchy, elastic, and this lady had made them for him. So that's why his socks always look perfect. Because I always wondered too, I'm like, dang, this dude spends a lot of time. I was no, that's just the sock. When he made it to the Ravens, he sent her all the Ravens socks, and she makes them so that they look like that. So I'm glad the swag matters, man, because you look good, play good. You got to. So before we get out of here, man, I got one fun one for you. Everybody's been talking about this stupid 100 gorilla thing. First, do you think you could find 100 football players? If you had to lead a pack, you as Thor, and you're leading a pack of 99 other men, do you really think y'all could fight a gorilla?
We have to have a crazy strategy to do it, because the first 10 to 20, I'm sorry, but you're
done.
But the rest, we're gonna have to come in waves. It's going. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We had this argument, I think, during OTAs. I think it took up about 7 or 8 days. that one argument took up a good amount of days. I still don't think we can do it.
Who on your team would you be absolutely not would I ever pick him to be one of the 100? If you look at some teammates, it could be a kicker, punter, but who are you no, I'm not taking him.
My guy, Makai.
Why Makai Blackman? What did he do? What did he do to you, man? Why?
If we're going off of pure size, he's not the biggest guy. So I'm not gonna pick him. It's nothing against him, bro. It's just there ain't much he gonna be able to do to that gorilla.
So you need Jonathan Allen, Harrison Phillips.
Yeah, I need
Christian Darrisaw.
I need Darrisaw. I need I need CJ Ham.
Okay. So you got the beef up there, and then you got to go probably get some Eagles defensive linemen, some Lions, some Bears.
We need all the defensive linemen, O linemen from their team too.
So would you rather change 100 explosive diarrhea diapers, or pick 99 guys to go fight a gorilla? Which one are you picking? And the diapers is all in 24 hours. This is one day of diapers. 100 explosive diarrhea diapers.
For the people who don't have kids, they don't understand those type of diapers.
Right. Clothes got to get changed every time. It's all over your car seat, maybe. 100 though. You got to deal with 100 of those. Whatever happens to it could be in the car when it happens. Within the 24-hour period, you got 100 explosive diarrhea diapers.
Oh man.
Or you got to fight that gorilla with 99 of your boys.
See, I'd rather change the diapers because I'm still living.
Smart man. And your wife probably would appreciate it too. But I'm Ron Johnson. That's Theo Jackson, man. I'm looking forward to covering you this year, man. Like I talked a lot about you before because, again, I do the Vikings breakdown as well. I do a thing called Ron's 3-minute drill. So I pick 3 to 4 plays. I break it down every Sunday on Fox, and then the Vikings put it on Vikings.com. So I'm looking forward to pulling up some Theo Jackson film this year, and I'm looking forward to the celebration, man. I gotta see the creep walk because Harrison's I kind of can see it and know it. So I'm looking forward to seeing yours. And honestly, we don't post that stuff. Like I don't post the little secret stuff I see or stuff I pick out. But once I see it, I'm like, okay, there he goes. I got that's that man right there. But definitely looking forward to celebration because we've seen the Chad Greenway high kick. We've seen the Everson Griffin. We've seen the Daniil Hunter kick down the door. Yep. You know, Jonathan Gennard. I don't know what is that the B-boy? Like
no, he's a Q dog.
Oh, he's a Q. Okay. I didn't even think about that. All right. So that's because are you in a fraternity?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So, you know, he's a Q. So I got that now. That's that Q dog. And, you know, we'll look forward to seeing the Theo Jackson. But again, I'm Ron Johnson. That's Theo Jackson. Coming up next, we got the Daily 3. That's 3 minutes. Spend about a minute each day. And we'll be back after a word from our sponsors. And now it's time for the Daily 3. That's 3 questions. About a minute each day. Take it away, Sam.
Basketball question for you, Ron. There are 3 Timberwolves whose futures are in flux. Naz Reid, free agent, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, free agent, and Julius Randle has a sneaky player option. If he opts in, then he's on the team. If he opts out, then he's a free agent, and then they could re-sign him, but we don't know. So you got 3 guys. I want you to pick 2, Ron. Pick 2 to keep and 1 to let walk.
Naz Reid for sure is 1. You gotta get Naz Reid back. I like that. I don't know, between Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Julius Randle, like Nickeil Alexander-Walker gives you that defense. You know, I liked his defensive presence towards the end of the season. I liked how he's willing to go after guards and take out the superstar if he needs to for a couple minutes and eat up some fouls that you don't want Ant to get or you don't want Mike Conley to get. Like he can play a little bit of point guard as well. He can bring the floor up. But Julius Randle, I mean, it took a while to get going. And again, they got just as far as they got, but not in the first year. The first year with Rudy Gobert and karl-anthony Towns, we were like, oh, this is not going to work. This is horrible. And then it worked the next year, and then we're like, okay, this thing can work. Well, and now you see karl-anthony Towns did coexist with a big man. And so Julius Randle figuring it out when him and Ant, who should take over when. The problem is last games. The last games are what you're going to remember, and both him and Ant just weren't impressive. It wasn't like this, you know, showman, like which happened last year. It happened the same thing against Dallas. So I don't know if that's an attrition of being tired. I don't know what that came from. I don't know if that's exhaustion from just having a long season. But Ant did say, I'm gonna get in the gym and do whatever I can do. I know Julius Randle's probably thinking the same thing. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go Naz Reid, probably Julius Randle. Because I feel like, you probably can find a guy. They also had, what's his name, 00 coming off the bench for the Timberwolves.
Terrence Shannon.
Yep, they can give you a little bit of minutes there. So yes, that way, and DiVincenzo without maybe gets a little bit bigger role. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. But Mike Conley being towards the end of his career, like it's all signs are asking people. I mean, it sounds like he's coming back. But, you know, I know I see a lot of joking memes that he might retire. So I don't know. That's a tough one for me. But I'm going to go Naz Reid, Julius Randle. What about you?
Yeah, I would probably prefer to keep Naz and I think Julius is just a little too expensive. And while he's I'll confess, he helped win you the Lakers series and the Warriors series. Gigantic. But I think you can get more flow with someone like Terrence Shannon. I think you can supplement the scoring. I want an offense where the ball moves. And I know you got to find a way to replace his size. I get it. Like you can't just let him walk and then not replace him. But I think Naz in the starting lineup can be fine. And I like elevating Terrence Shannon to play more minutes. I think he might be better than Rob Dillingham. I mean, I think Terrence Shannon is instant scoring off the bench that can fill the offensive void. So give me Naz, give me Na. I think they're both glue pieces. They're chemistry pieces. And you got young guys that can move up in the rotation. So I'm going to let Julius go somewhere else and wish him well.
What you got next?
Oklahoma softball. The dynasty ends at 4 titles. Beaten by Texas Tech yesterday. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, it was a great game. It was 2-0 at the bottom of the 6th, I think, or top of the 7th. And Najee candidate down to the last out, 2 outs, gives up a 2-run homer to tie it up. Texas Tech gets a chance. They come back. They have a sacrifice for the winning score. And so it was just a great game. That's what softball is about. 2 heavyweights, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, a new heavyweight when they added $1 million pitcher. And so for Texas Tech to never make it to the World Series, to never make it to any of these rounds, to a super regional, and then all of a sudden, or maybe like I think in 18 years or something, but their first ever World Series, and you paid for it. So it works. So I think this is going to be a new sign for colleges to say, hey, if there's a girl out there we want, let's go find a guy willing to pay her $1 million, because again, softball in college is kind of like basketball in college. You can buy a championship. And that's what they just did. This girl is an absolute weapon. Like Nebraska, same thing. Nebraska made it far with Jordy Ball. They got Jordy Ball to transfer out of Oklahoma. Najee candidate leaves Stanford, goes to Texas Tech. It's great. So Texas is going to be in the best of 3 for the championship. So we will have a new champion. Oklahoma is no more, and it was great to see. It's good to see. I was kind of not saying I'm sick of Oklahoma, but it just felt like, because Patty Gasso had recruited so well, girls just kept coming, and she was not going to lose. And so Texas Tech beat her, though. It came down to pitching. She held them off as long as she could. She only gave up 2 runs.
Yeah, I can't imagine how good that feels for Texas Tech to be the one to slay the giant. That's a really cool spot to be in. So one dynasty ends in Oklahoma, but another might be starting with the Oklahoma City Thunder. The final start on Thursday against the Pacers. Thunder are minus 750. Crazy favorites at FanDuel. Who you got in the series and how many games?
I got to go OKC in 6. I just feel like the free throw merchant, you could hate on it all you want, but it works. Like the minute he feels your pressure, he's going to bang and then fall and throw the ball up. And because he's not a big dude, it looks bad because he is a skinnier guy. Like, it just looks bad. But when you think about the Pacers, nobody's giving them a chance. Like, nobody really feels like nobody gave him a chance ever anyway. Like Halliburton, people are like, he's not a superstar. He has a weird shooting motion. And every game he just comes out and does his job and continues. Now, the funniest still is the video of Pascal Siakam getting the Offensive Player Award for the Eastern Conference Finals. But when they're announcing it, Tyrese Halliburton kind of starts doing the like he's walking up like he's about to get it. And the minute they say Siakam's name, he's like, and you can see his teammate look over at him like, oh, like it's not you. So that was funny. Because a lot of times we forget there's other stuff in the stat line, rebounds, defense, blocks, and Halliburton really is just filling up the scoring, but he's not filling up the other stuff, the assists, the glue stuff. And so that tends to happen at times. My guess is if they win the NBA Finals, it's probably Tyrese Halliburton has to be the MVP, I would think. But I do know, I remember, what's his name? Andre Iguodala. Didn't he win it one year?
He did. 2015, I want to say it was Iguodala.
Instead of Steph Curry, right? Is that the one?
Yeah, and then Durant won it 1 or 2 years too. I don't think Curry got one until the 4th title, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So you just never know who they're going to pick. It's subjective. We know there's stats involved, but there's other little things involved, and how do they affect the game? And so that was. But yeah, I got the Thunder. Who do you got?
Thunder in 5, gentlemen sweep. I think the Thunder are just going to defend well enough to slow Indiana. Indiana is an offensive juggernaut, but Oklahoma City will slow them down, and the Pacers can't defend well enough to slow down OKC. So the defense will win it for OKC. We're going to talk about this team as one of the best that we've seen in the modern NBA. And they won't get that credit that they deserve because it's OKC. It's a small market, but this has been a juggernaut of a basketball team, and they'll be a deserving champion. Yeah,
I love to see them go up 3-1, and then the Pacers win game 5. And then people start to get nervous, like, oh, wait, are we going to do it again? Are we really about to give this thing up 3-1 lead? Because we know that happened back with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. They had a 3-1 lead in the playoff, not the championship, but the playoffs, and they end up losing. And so, yeah. Or was it the championship? It wasn't a championship, was it?
Those were the Western Finals
The
against
Western Finals.
Golden
Yeah.
State. Golden State came back, but then Golden State, I believe that was the year Golden State blew the lead to the Cavs.
Yep, they got 3-1 by the Cavs. LeBron with the block that everybody keeps talking about over and over and over again on Iguodala, of all people. You know, the chase down, the LeBron famous chase down, and then the funny is when the Warriors I think came to visit Cleveland, that was the picture on the wall of the locker room of the visitor walking in. It was LeBron blocking Iguodala. So, you know, just a memory to say, hey, don't forget about this. We came back, one of the best ever with Kyrie, LeBron, Kevin Love. But again, I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. We want to thank Theo Jackson and Minnesota Vikings for having Theo on our show, but thank Theo for coming to sit down with us for a little bit, opening up a vein, talking a little bit about marriage, guys in the locker room. But then also, you know, we did talk about fighting a gorilla. Like, I don't know if you guys know 99 guys you would take, but Theo has an idea. We know who he wouldn't take. But I'm Ron Johnson, Sam Ekstrom. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button. If you're on your YouTube app, your email address or your Apple ID or your I don't even know what Android uses should be hooked up to YouTube. Just hit subscribe, and then every time we have alerts, any little show updates, it'll go right to your phone as the season goes. But I'm Ron Johnson, Sam Ekstrom. I want to thank you guys for joining us today on the Ron Johnson Show, and have a great week, people.